Shri Ajit Kumar Buyan. Ajit Kumar Buyan.
Thank you, Chairman Sir, for giving me an opportunity to raise an important issue pertaining to our country. Sir, in the years 2020 and 2019, a total of 4,604 and 4,002 MD, MS seats remained vacant respectively. Criteria for MBBS students to qualify for the NEET PG exam is based on 50 percentiles. Although the cutoff percentage reduces after round 2 of medical counseling from 50 percentile 30 in the year 2020, 4,614 MD, MS seats remain vacant in 2020. Chairman Sir, many desirous MBBS doctors do not get admission in MD, MS courses only because the NEET PG cutoff mark is not reduced sufficiently. MBBS students who remain disqualified due to high cutoff marks in the NEET PG exam are registered doctors who have already passed all the 12 major exams successfully during the period of the MBBS course of 5.5 years. It is not desirable to keep MBBS doctors ineligible for further study based on a high NEET PG cutoff score when they have already passed the MBBS course successfully. Sir, if seats remain vacant, the country will get fewer specialist doctors each year, and it will aggravate the present shortage. Recently, the Indian Medical Association has also appealed to the government to make all the MBBS doctors eligible to take part in MD, MS admission irrespective of NEET PG scores because they have already cleared the MBBS exams successfully. Chairman Sir, I urge the Government of India through you to reduce the disqualifying NEET PG cutoff marks more than last year, reduce at least 100 marks after round 2 of counseling. That can be done to prevent the MD, MS seats from remaining vacant.
Thank you.
Sir.
G.K. Vasan.
Sir, the Government of India has taken a lot of initiatives to help the MSME sector, which has been badly affected due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Due to the vast disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, the government introduced the company's Fresh Start Scheme and Limited Liability Partnership Settlement Scheme in the year 2020, which were operated till 31/12/2020. The CFSS scheme provided for delayed submission of various statements and return to the MCA 21 electronic registry without any higher additional fees. It also gave immunity to directors against prosecution of proceedings on huge penalties on account of delays. The LLP settlement scheme also had similar provisions for delayed filing of annual returns. However, sir, many MSMEs could not benefit from these schemes since they could not revoke their cancelled directors' identification numbers through the courts that were not functioning during the lockdowns. As a result, MSMEs have not been able to complete their submission before 31/12/2020 and have been facing penalties imposing by the Register of Companies. The government also brought out GST penalty waiver scheme for MSMEs. Most of the business in this sector are being asked to pay penalties since they could not file their returns even during the extended period owing to the second wave of COVID-19. Sir, I request the government may consider further extension of penalty waiver under this scheme so that the MSME sector, which has suffered the most during the pandemic, can hope for further revival. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Ami Agnik.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman, sir, for permitting me to raise a very important issue. The special mention is related to fast-track courts for speedy redressal and access to justice for women. Sir, the pandemic has severely impacted the justice delivery mechanism in our society, in our country. The courts are already burdened with a huge backlog of cases. A 2018 survey of the Law Ministry revealed that there are 19 judges per 10 lakh people, and the ratio has further declined during the social distancing and virtual hearing norms that were adopted during the pandemic. The crisis has impacted women the most as there has been a steep rise in domestic violence and gender-based violence cases. Although there is some awareness in society that women can get free legal aid and can get respite by calling helplines, the issue of reaching courts and getting justice is definitely a challenging task for women. For most women, access to justice is difficult. The pandemic and post-pandemic situation has come with new challenges for women seeking justice securely, swiftly, and effectively. Delay in dispensing justice is a clear violation of Article 21, wherein the courts have time and again emphasized the right to speedy justice. In the era of continuous delays and backlogs, there is need to set up fast-track courts for a specific time period so that a speedy redressal mechanism may be set up whereby women can have access to justice quickly. I request the government to look into this issue of backlog as it not only impacts women, but it impacts and affects society and even slows down the economy of the nation.
Thank you, Ma. Now next is Srimati Santa Chetri, Gallery 4. Mike.
My subject is growing demand for new entrants of Central Armed Police Forces for old pension scheme. Sir, I would like to draw your kind attention that there is a growing restlessness amongst the paramilitary force who joined after 2004 have been denied old pension scheme. Sir, I humbly urge the August House to seek a detailed explanation and a method to revise or present a detailed explanation on why the old pension scheme can or cannot be implemented for new entrants after 2004. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ma. Very sincere member sitting alone in there and raising issues. Sri Viswambar Prasad Nishad to associate. Whoever is supporting her sincerely, they must also go and join her. Simply thumping the dust. Good. Please, Vishwambar.
महोदय, अवलंबनीय लोक मत के विषय केंद्र सरकार और प्रदेश सरकार के कर्मचारियों को पुरानी पेंशन बहाल संबंधी मैं केंद्र सरकार से मांग करता हूं कि 2004 से बंद की गई पुरानी पेंशन को पुनः बहाल किया जाए, जिससे देश के कर्मचारियों को सेवानिवृत्ति के बाद पेंशन बुढ़ापे का सहारा बन सके। धन्यवाद।
Thank you. Sri Muhammad Nadimul Haq.
My topic is on the effect of school closures on children's education. According to ASER, major findings report for the 2021 school survey, nearly 3/4 of all respondents said that they are currently having difficulty teaching their grade. The most common issue was that children were unable to keep up with their grade level curriculum, which accounted for 65.4% of the total. In rural Karnataka, for example, the percentage of grade 3 students in government schools who can perform simple subtraction has decreased from 24% in 2018 to only 16% in 2020. The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Education, Women, Children, Youth and Sports released a report in August 2021 that criticized the learning gap caused by school lockdowns. It was not only the loss of learning, but also the loss of social contact and socialization routine that were part of a student's daily experience of life in schools and educational systems, according to the committee. So, according to a joint report released by UNESCO, UNICEF, and the World Bank in 2021, this generation of students around the world faces a loss of $17 trillion in their lifetime earnings in present value as a result of school closures. Given long school closures and erratic remote learning, the number of children living in learning poverty will rise sharply in low and middle income countries, potentially reaching 70%. The government will first need to develop protocols for when to close and, more importantly, when to reopen schools. Second, more flexibility in funding resources at the district and school level is required so that schools can comply with government standard operating procedures and support expenditures based on their needs. So I urge the government to take necessary steps.
Thank you, Dr. Ashok Bajpai.
माननीय सभापति महोदय, आपका बहुत बहुत आभार। आपने विशेष उल्लेख का अवसर दिया। महोदय, निजी गाड़ियों को 10 वर्ष तक उपयोग में रखने के बाद निष्प्रयोज्य किए जाने के संबंध में, महोदय, सामान्य आय वर्ग का व्यक्ति जीवन में बड़े प्रयासों से बैंक से ऋण लेकर एक बार बड़े शौक से निजी वाहन खरीदता है और जिससे पूरा परिवार अपने को गौरवान्वित महसूस करता है। वर्षों तक अपने खर्चों में कटौती करके उसकी ईएमआई भरता है। उसके 10 वर्षों के बाद अच्छी भली गाड़ियां निष्प्रयोज्य घोषित कर दी जाती हैं। सामान्य परिवार के लिए संभव नहीं है कि वो पुनः दूसरी गाड़ी खरीद सके। ऐसे परिवार सारी उम्र जमा पूंजी लगाकर ही अपने जीवन का ये शौक पूरा करते हैं। प्रायः देखा गया है कि ये लोग कहीं न कहीं सेवारत होने के कारण केवल सप्ताह में 1 या 2 बार गाड़ी निकालने और परिवार के साथ चलने का अवसर इन्हें मिलता है। मुझे ऐसा महसूस होता है कि अच्छी गाड़ियों को निष्प्रयोज्य घोषित किए जाने से सामान्य जन के सामने गंभीर संकट उत्पन्न हो जाता है। यद्यपि इन गाड़ियों में न तो किसी प्रकार की तकनीकी खराबी आती है और न किसी प्रकार से निष्प्रयोग किए जाने योग्य होती हैं। इन गाड़ियों में से किसी प्रकार की कोई कमी भी नहीं रहती, परंतु 10 वर्ष की अवधि पूरी होने के बाद इन्हें दिल्ली जैसे महानगर में चलाना अपराध बन जाता है और इस तरह से बड़े पैमाने पर इन गाड़ियों को कबाड़ घोषित कर दिया जाता है। इससे व्यक्तिगत क्षति तो होती है, राष्ट्रीय क्षति भी होती है। इन गाड़ियों के संचालन के लिए पर्यावरण और प्रदूषण की समय समय पर जांच करा ली जाए, अनिवार्य कर दिया जाए, मानक निर्धारित कर दिए जाएं और जो गाड़ियां ये मानक पूरे करती हैं उन गाड़ियों का पंजीकरण 10 साल से बढ़ाकर जब तक गाड़ियां चलने योग्य हैं उन्हें चलने की अनुमति प्रदान की जाए, उन्हें निष्प्रयोज्य न घोषित किया जाए।
दिल्ली में पोल्यूशन का स्थिति आपको मालूम है। श्री नीरज डांगी।
माननीय सभापति महोदय।
नीरज दंगी या डांगी?
डांगी। डांगी।
डांगी।
यस सर।
डांगी। ऐसे डांगे होते थे एक जमाने में।
हाँ, वो डिफरेंट है सर थोड़ा।
वही डांगे।
दैट इज डिफरेंट।
प्लीज।
माननीय सभापति महोदय, आपकी अनुमति से विशेष उल्लेख के जरिए महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दा मैं सदन में रखना चाहूंगा। केंद्र सरकार की हाइड्रो पावर पॉलिसी 2008 के अनुसार पावर प्लांट्स में होने वाले विद्युत उत्पादन का 13% निःशुल्क आवंटन गृह राज्य को किया जाता है। पवन एवं सौर ऊर्जा आधारित इंटर स्टेट पावर प्लांट से उत्पादित विद्युत के आवंटन पर भी इसी प्रकार की नीति निर्धारित किए जाने की आवश्यकता है, क्योंकि गृह राज्य में इस प्रकार के पावर प्लांट्स की स्थापना हेतु अत्यधिक मात्रा में भूमि का आवंटन आवश्यक है एवं राज्य के अन्य स्रोतों का भी उपयोग इसकी स्थापना में किया जाता है। पश्चिमी राजस्थान में सौर ऊर्जा प्रचुर मात्रा में उपलब्ध है एवं सोलर रेडिएशंस भी बहुत अधिक हैं, जिस कारण यहाँ का उत्पादित विद्युत की लागत देश में अन्य राज्यों की अपेक्षा बहुत कम है। अन्य राज्यों की सौर ऊर्जा की मांग की पूर्ति हेतु इंटर स्टेट सोलर प्लांट्स की स्थापना के लक्ष्य के तहत 3580 मेगावाट कमीशन हो चुकी है। अतः भारत सरकार से अनुरोध है कि इंटर स्टेट सोलर एंड विंड पावर प्लांट से
3580।
यस सर, 3580।
300 नहीं, हाँ ठीक।
अतः भारत सरकार से अनुरोध है कि इंटर स्टेट सोलर एंड विंड पावर प्लांट से गृह राज्यों को 15% निःशुल्क विद्युत आवंटन के प्रस्ताव पर विचार करें। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद जी। Honorable members, I have observed yesterday while asking clarification, people are giving speeches. Clarification means clarification only. I am not referring to any individual's name. Secondly, when the chair has called a name, he or she should only speak. If others also start speaking, it will be practically difficult. I was sharing my experience with you in the morning about Mizoram, even after that Sikkim also. The people were hearing other members with all respect and then observing silence so that others also get an opportunity and all. I hope that we'll continue the same